Hello everyone, and behold, a box that is too large to fit into frame. We're doing an unboxing today of the very last Kickstarter I ever backed, and that was back during the tail end of COVID, I think. So it took a long time to get here. There was a lot of delays for most of Europe, especially the UK, I guess because of leaving the EU or whatever, it doesn't matter. But what we're looking at today in this box, once I get it open, is the newest additions to Battletech. It is Battletech Mercenaries along with some other side stuff, and it's finally shipped out today. I'm going to open the box, haven't even done that yet, it's too large, and we'll just start looking at what's inside. So I have opened the box to one side here, and we're just going to open up everything that's inside at first, and then we'll go through it. So I have some bubble wrap to get rid of first. Case done, and then my invoice, which I'm not going to show you, and then we have the products. So what they put on top is a lot of salvage boxes, which I can't remember how many there should be. There's a lot. I am going to open these in a separate video because they're not technically part of the, I mean they were part of the Kickstarter I guess, but they're not part of the Mercenaries box or anything. It's just the blind box wave they're doing with it. So I want to do a separate video on these for people who like seeing salvage box openings, like I've done a couple way in the past. There's also some set boxes here. So all these ones will be looked at separately. Those, you know what's inside, but hey. And I think that's it for the... Nope, no, there's more. There may actually still be more. This is kind of packed haphazardly, neatly, but there's no rhyme or reason to what's where. So let's just push those up there, and we'll add to the pile as there's more. Next, we have the Inner Sphere Recon Lens. Again, we'll be taking a closer look at each of these in a second. We have the Inner Sphere Security Lens. Then we have, what do we have here? What is this? We have an unknown box. We'll look at that in a second. We have, well, I just read what was on it actually. That's very funny. I forgot about that. We have the Battletech Battle and Fire Lances, which is adding some SAM launchers, or LRM launchers I should say, and some tanks. We have the Battletech Legendary MechWarriors 3 box. But wait, there's more. I swear there's a core box in here somewhere, Kif. We have Northland Highlanders coin, I think it was I got. You could select one, so I picked them. And then on that note, there's also some themed dice here. Very sparkly, actually. We have another mysterious box. I think there's an oversized mech in there from what I recall. And then, okay, I see what they've done with the blind boxes. I got a box of them. So this is just a box of the 9. So there's those, and then there was 6 extra, and then the 2 that have set drops. So those will be opened in a separate video for people who like that kind of thing specifically. And last but not least, nope, not last, second last, is the Battletech Mercenaries box, which is the main thing we're going to look at here. We'll take a good look at what's inside, etc. Looking forward to that, but that's not the last thing. What is this? There's something else. What is this? Oh, it is Merc 3 pack posters. It is some posters from Catalyst Game Labs /Tops. And I think that's everything. Yep, I think it is. So I'm just going to move all these to the side and we'll start looking through this. Let's start with the 2 mysterious boxes, starting with this one, the larger of the 2, which is, if I remember correctly, an oversized 100mm Timberwolf. I'm very curious what this looks like, and the quality as well. Yeah, that is a gigantic, good grief. That is very cool looking though. Oversized, size of my hand, but very cool looking. It's the exact sculpt as well. Painted many of these now at this point. Not sure if I'll be painting this or not. I think I kind of want it just to have a really cool looking display piece. I'm tempted, I'm very tempted. That's subject to change, but hopefully that is giving you an idea. If I move myself out of the way of the light, it will show better. There we are. So very nice looking. Not for use in the game, obviously, but still cool. Let me put that to one side here. And in the other box, for the memes, this is, well, you know what, I'll just show you, in case you haven't already paused the video to read the label. Spoilers. This is Nightmare Fuel. Pure, unadulterated Nightmare Fuel. This is 12 of the best mech, the trash can mech, the urban mech. And my idea for these is I'm going to paint them in some kind of like almost Nurgle-esque kind of like, it make it look like it's some kind of disease, or the mechs themselves have a sickness. Not 100% sure what that's going to be. It's definitely going to be some kind of murky green with yellow and maybe some pinks for like the guns to make them look like tendrils. That's my plan, to make like a zombie urban mech army just for the lulz. That was my plan for these. So that's on the to-do list for 2025. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be stupid, to be absolutely clear, and not at all serious, but I think it'll be quite funny. So let's go through the boxes now real quick, starting with the Inner Sphere Security Launch. You could pick and choose what additional boxes you wanted along with the Mercs core box. So I don't remember what past me picked, so let's have a little look. Fortify your positions, so these mechs bring security to much needed, ensure safety, yes, but what's in it? It's the Jägermech, the Scorpion, the Vulcan, and the Whitworth. And we're going to open it up real quick and take a quick look. Trying very hard not to wreck the box, but there we are. So there is the cards it comes with, and here is the mechs, hopefully without reflection. I was after the Jägermech. I like the Jägermech. I prefer the Rifleman, but I wanted the Jaeger. And I think this is the first time, or first time in a long time, they've updated the sculpt for this. I might be wrong, but I don't think there's been a previous release for this yet, and it's one of the newer ones to the Mercs wave. Could be wrong, might not be. And this one's on a Perspex pole, the Crab Walker. And I'm expecting them all to be perfect quality. Just trying to show them a little bit to camera in case you were curious of the sculpt or anything like that. And a very quick look at the cards as well. I'm only really interested in the Alpha Strike cards, but I'll show them all. So there's the Vulcan ST, was that? 2T, sorry. And the 5M. And then we have the Scorpion 1N and also the Scorpion C. And we have the Whitworth 1 and the 1S, so you know it's cooler. There's my Jägermech, and that's the 6S. This is the DGR. Nice. And you have your pilot cards, which I'm not, again, too concerned about, but here they are if you're interested. And finally, Tang Chung and Penelope Carstairs. So hopefully that was visible. Next box. Next we have the Recon Lance, which I've already opened up here, but just to take a quick look at the back, this comes with the Firestarter, the Ost Scout, or the OST Scout, Spectre, Javelin. And there are the cards. Oops. And here are a hopefully non-reflective look at the mechs in the side. Now in a blind box I did get a longbow that had two of the same arm, and one of them was just turned upside down, so I'm looking for anything like that went wrong with these, just because it's quite fun, like as just a weird anomaly from the factory that put them together. But so far it is fine. I think there's more chance with the blind box pulls than the boxes really, since you don't see the mechs once they're in the blind box, so the error is harder to catch. Oops. And the final two before the cards. Nice looking. And hopefully in focus. There we go. Simple light mechs. And their cards. Oh, a bit bumpy this. So that is the OTT 7J, and then on the back 7JB. Then we've got the Javelin 10N and the 12N on the back. Firestarter H, Firestarter S1, classic in the MechWarrior video games, fighting Firestars, then the Spectre 5F, and the 6F. The pilot cards, again if you want to read them, pause. I don't really mess with the unique pilots, but they're there for you if you want them. And then finally, Dale McMurphy. There we are. Next up is the legendary MechWarriors 3. So in here we have the Warhammer 9K, the Griffin 4N, Timberwolf Bounty Hunter, and a Loki MK2 Prime, as well as a Marauder 8K. No assembly required, etc. In some fun puzzle. The cards just fell straight out. So these look great. Oh, and one of them must come with options. What is that? Alternative weapons? It is alternative weapons. Okay. So there is that option. I didn't read that on the back. Which one has the alternative? Special MechWarrior cards. Yeah, it doesn't say specifically which one has the alternative there. Well, at a glance, anyway. That's okay. You can work it out. So there is one. There's a lot of shadow being cast today. It's a very dank day. I had to arrive on a horrible, miserable, wet day. Different pose for the Timberwolf, more action orientated. It's kind of crouching, looking to the side, and its other leg is up instead. If you need a reminder for the normal Timberwolf pose, also for a size comparison. It's pretty cool. But other than that, same mech and the Warhammer. Also in a slightly more dynamic pose, slightly. Marauder. That is a chunky Marauder, good grief. I always say this, but it looks like a Transformer that's halfway through transforming. It's getting there. Oh, I wonder if this is the one that you can replace the guns on. It doesn't. That seems glued in. Wait, that's the Marauder. That's the Marauder 2, I guess. And there we are. Yeah, this is the Marauder I'm familiar with. Well, we'll know for sure when we look at the cards, which is now. There's a lot of cards in here. I guess because they are legendary. Yep, so that's the bog standard Marauder, more specifically the Bounty Hunter, which I guess is a variant. Then on the back is the 3015 as opposed to the 3138. Warhammer, of course, just in a different pose. Emerald Green, again, 9K on the back though. Griffin, 2N, with the C on the back there. Mad Cat, aka Timberwolf, but Bounty Hunter. And the just S. The Loki MK2, I like the Loki. And the A on the back, and it's a Marauder 2, yeah. Very cool looking. Sniper as the default, and the 8K on the back, which is more medium range. Then pilots. Legendary Legend of the Bounty Hunter. You meet him in MechWarrior Mercs. No surprise. So again, if you want to read the cards for these famous pilots, and then also the variants on the back, of course, feel free to do so. I'll probably try and paint these up in the emerald colours of the Bounty Hunters, but we'll see. And then, well, it should be the other way around. Really, there's Bounty Hunter 3151. So that is the Legendary MechWarriors 3 group. I think they offered 2 and 1 as well, but this is the one that appealed most to me of the choices. So then finally, before the main show itself, it's a bunch of tanks. Good fodder for just doing general mission types. But yeah, so it's 2 LRM carriers, medium tanks, 2 SRM carriers, and it's 2 Manticore heavy tanks and 2 Vendetta medium tanks. And they come with that. Ooh, that's a chunk of card. So it's 2 of each sculpt for each one, so I don't need to show all of them, but they are what you would expect. You destroy so many of these in the video games from MechWarrior. There's that would be the SRM, this is the LRM, which is struggling a little bit, it's so tiny. then the littler of the tanks, and then the big manticores, which are pretty tough. And then all the cards. Get out of there. So, we have the standard Manticore heavy tank on the back. Is there anything? Yes, there is. There's a variant. This is the XL. So then we have the Manticore heavy tank, a different type again. And on the back of this is the C3S. That's different too. And then the other tank on the back is the armor version. What was that version called? Just medium tank. This is the Ultra version. And Cell on the back. Then we've got the SRM carriers. They don't have much health, but 6 short and medium for that. Then the 3054 upgrade to the SRM. C3 on the back. Then the LRMs, they can barely fit all the missiles on the thing. And the C on the back there. And then the upgrade. And then these are the cards for using it in normal Battletech, I presume. Battlefield support. So I don't really know how these cards work, but they're also double-sided. It's the first time I've seen this type of card, actually. But if you want to, again, pause to read their stats, if they're relevant to how you play Battletech, here they are. And there are some on the back as well. But that is it for the additional stuff. Now the main event. Oh, before that, as a quick aside, you do actually come with other turret options in there. So it looks like if you wanted all of the LRMs to be, or all the missile tanks to be LRM, you can do that. Or if you want them to all be SRM, you can do that as well with the alternative turrets. And the main event indeed, Battletech Mercenaries. Let's flip it over and you can see here basically what you get. It's similar to the other starter boxes and expansion boxes available for Battletech already. The Alpha Strike one, the Clan Invasion one, the default one, etc, etc. So the Mercenaries box includes 8 miniatures, 4 vehicles. It also includes a primer on the Battletech universe, it always does, rulebook, punch out tokens, maps, pilot cards, and Battlefield support cards. Fully revised Battlefield support rules as well for, I guess, what those additional cards for the vehicles are. That's how they're doing them now. So let's crack this open, and we get a little story. We get No One Left Behind. They always include a short story of some type. We have an abundance of the Battlefield support deck cards, which are again akin to what we just looked at, as well as cards for Alpha Strike, which are much more relevant to me. I'm not going to open these at this point because there's so many of them, and the pilot cards are beneath as well. But you do get everything you need for normal Battletech and Alpha Strike with this deck here. So just as an example, here is the Chameleon, which is a mech I'm not familiar with. I like that paint scheme for it. And there's those new vehicle cards as well. So it's a turret emplacement. And on the back, the Warrior Helicopter. And we have our bog standard dice, although thankfully we've got these fancy dice we could use instead. Look at those sparkly blue dice in there. Or you've got your Battletech ones here. These ones I don't like as much, but the blue ones are pretty cool. So that is there. And then we have our abundance of mechs. I'm not going to recognize a lot of these, except maybe, is that a wasp over there? But either way, let's zoom in so we can take a good look. I like how chunky this one is. If you've misplaced one of your guns, it's probably on this. Very chunky, very Atlas-like, but wider up top. Nice. And we have... Is this a fire starter? It looks like a fire starter, but the head's different, so I'm blanking on the variant of it. That one's familiar though, I recognize it. And then we have... Oh, there we are. With jump capability. We've got a little mix here. This is a wasp, right? Actually no, it looks... the top's too wide for it to be a wasp. Or a locust. Well, either way, you can tell it's fast and easy to kill, but very evasive just by looking at it. And then similarly, this looks like a fire moth, almost. but the parts have been like hijacked, and parts have been stripped off of it to resell. These tanks are different to the ones we just looked at in the other box I got. So these are hover tanks of some variety. 2 of those, and then also 2 of these little, I don't know, APCs almost, because they're on tracks. Oops. Just tossed it back in there and it managed to land upside down. You can tell they're not cats. I repeat, they're not cats. And then the bottom row of 3 medium-sized mechs. Hopefully in focus here. Nothing wrong with any of the sculpts, can tell just by looking at them already, so that is lucky. But as I say, I think it's more likely if there is going to be ever any errors, it's in blind boxes, or salvage boxes, sorry, to use the actual term. Very nice. And then finally, it looks like that one Pokemon that's got a tire for a chest. And there we have it. Kind of like the look of this one actually. And then underneath it, we have the important stuff for actually playing the game. Well, the mechs are also important, assuming there's no standees. But you get your Mercenaries rulebook. It is not the comprehensive rulebook for both versions of the game, but I presume, what is it using? Chaos Campaign for Mercenaries. I'm just seeing it. Is it the Alpha Strike rules, or is it the full old school rules? I'm not sure. But either way, it is 30 pages, 32 pages, including the page at the back for making profiles and campaign info. We have old school Battletech sheets for if you are playing the more complicated version, right here. And you can reprint these, etc., and photocopy them. Don't wreck the originals. But yeah, there's one for each mech right in there. Caesar, Devastator. Oh, that's what the big one was called, Devastator. Nice. Yeah, and a variant on the back. The primer, as far as I'm aware, the universe has not moved along again yet. We're still in the Oak-Clan era, so this will be the same if you're familiar, more or less. And it's going into all, actually it's talking about all the different mercenary groups, so it's actually slightly different. Then we have a poster of the state of the Inner Sphere in 3058, which I think I also have somewhere. So I'm not going to be able to fit this into frame, but it is a very shiny and very thick map, and it has a different year on the back. Let me see if I can see what it is. It's 3151 Inner Sphere on the back and 3058 on the other side. So it does come with standees for old school Battletech if you just want to use those to represent a bunch of tanks, foot soldiers, looks like field hospitals and such. And then, what are these? New quick references for using the battlefield support rules that they've implemented. And then finally, mercenary contract record sheet. Common cost pay, how much it costs to travel, how much maintenance is, how much combat is. If they've added like a full-on mercenary mode where you are just going around doing stuff, that's basically my ideal for what I was hoping for. And then you've got your lance units on the back there as well. Laminated, you're supposed to photocopy this, print it off so you can do it multiple times. And then you've got a quick reference for campaign flowchart on the back here as well. Contract of mercenary employment. That's fun. And then you have sadly it's just thin paper, but it is a paper hex map, sorry, 2 of them, probably double-sided. Yep, double-sided, for you to play the classic version of Battletech on it. And that is it. I'm going to look at that poster and try and fit it into frame to just show you the other posters, to see what those look like. Well, the paper is a bit too reflective to really show you, plus getting in frame. It is very landscape. That's one side of one poster. The other side is pretty cool. Right there, with some classic art, the Atlas and Catalyst, etc. Pretty nice looking. It comes with 2 more. One of them is just a battle scene, which you can sort of see there. Also, this paper feels very strange. I presume it's recycled, I don't know, but it feels very strange. That looks like the box to the Alpha Strike box with the Northland Highlanders on it. And then some kind of Arctic scene on the other one. And then finally, we saw a bit of the other one. It is just pictures of all the miniatures, basically, or renders of all the miniatures. Yeah, I don't know what the kind of paper this is. This paper actually stinks. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, it stinks. And that, as they say, that is everything I got when I picked up the final Kickstarter I'll probably ever get, the Battletech Mercenaries new box with some additionals. And as I say, the salvage boxes to the top right, all, I don't know, 16 in total or something. That is going to be a separate video just so that we see the random nature of it for those who want to see that. But for anyone who was specifically wondering about just this box, any extras I picked up and the additional boxes, there you go. I do cover Alpha Strike on the channel now and then. It isn't, every week or anything like that, but go check it out if you want, and thank you either way for watching this. Enjoy your mechs, whether you play Alpha Strike or the original version of Battletech, which is just over my head in terms of complexity, but either way, enjoy the rest of your day and see you next time. Ta-ta for now.